mean, it's surprising that there actually is a rap song on the radio about Timmy Turner, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I mean, before we start, you gotta give shout out to the Marvel Heroes boy.
Oh, right. So I didn't know we were recording. Last week I talked a whole lot about Marvel Heroes, the game, the PC game. Check it out; it's free to play. And I said a lot of nice things about it, and I was really loving it. And then I was, I was fair though. I said things I didn't like about it. And I mentioned on there how you can buy like random hero things to get a random hero.
Yeah.
And I got a duplicate Deadpool, which I knew going in was a possibility, but it was very small and I was upset. But after we recorded that, it went up on YouTube and I tweeted out the link on Twitter, obviously, tweeted it. And I just said, I've been obsessed with Marvel Heroes. A couple hours after I tweeted that out, I got a reply from that tweet from a guy named Chris Baker, and it just said, "What would you have preferred to get in your random hero box besides Deadpool?" And the first thing I did was I clicked on his name to see who he was, and he works for Gazillion, which is the developer of that game. And so I replied,
with Anthony Galangas.
Yeah. It's just those two guys. And
Gazillion is an exaggeration.
And so I replied, and I was like, I don't know, Spider-Man would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a private message on Twitter from the Gazillion Twitter account with a fucking code.
I was going to say, don't swear on this episode. Because he was just like, I would blast this out, but we're not allowed to share anything with profanity. Well, but you already did. It's already out the window.
Edit it. It's just one. I'll just do one.
Nah, I'm not doing it.
All right, fuck it. And he sent me a code for to redeem for Spider-Man. So he gave me a free thing for the game for doing the podcast, and it was unbelievable. And so I want to shout that guy out. His name is Chris Baker at cbake76 on Twitter. And he said he listened to the show. He sent it to the rest of the company to listen to. He said he would have tweeted it, but there's too much swearing.
Yeah.
And I also asked him about
I wanted controller support on Mac,
and I wanted it on console.
Yeah.
And he gave me a very corporate answer.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, he's got a job to
Oh
uphold.
yeah. No. Well, and also it's.
What if he gave you top secret information? And he was just like, no, don't tell anyone, but December 9th? I just tried to go for a random date there, but that's my birthday. It's
a good gift.
Dude, if they put Marvel Heroes on console on December 9th, you heard it here first, DanDans. I wish. So everybody should follow CBake. Is that what it is?
CBake 78.
78 on Twitter, and just tell him thanks for listening to What Game Are You Gaming from 616 Entertainment.
Yeah.
And that we all appreciate him. You know what I'm saying?
Because
that's some good community support
that's
right there.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
And
top notch. That's shit that you remember.
I felt like the kind of funny guys who they get like free codes all the time and stuff. That's what I felt like.
You felt like higher up?
So, but listen to this. I posted that story on Reddit, in the Marvel Heroes Reddit, with the idea you can't post like just your own promotional shit in there. I was like, but if I tell this cool story and like put the name of the podcast in there, it's like some hidden promotion. You know what I mean? And dude, it caused a fucking shitstorm.
What do you mean?
In Reddit. Because there were so many fucking salty assholes who are like, oh, because this guy got a show, he gets free shit, and the rest of us are all fucking losers, like treated like second-class citizens. And it wasn't just attacks. There was a lot of people that came to I didn't say yet shit. I would just watch it play out. And a lot of people came into the comments and were like, you have to be the most entitled motherfucker I've ever seen.
About you?
No, the guys who were like upset they didn't get something for free.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I like that there was the people who were the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Like, there were people who were complaining. They're just like, oh, he's got a show, so he get... And then the other people were just like, guys, shut the fuck up. You gotta have the voice of reason out there. That's... Sometimes it's few and far between on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I was just saying, like, this... I posed it as, like, this guy's awesome. Like, this guy did a cool thing for me. And people were like, it was so ridiculous.
You need to send me the link to that because I want to read the comments, and I'll put the link to this thread in the description so the DanDans can see the shit too.
Okay.
You didn't tell me about that at all.
Yeah, I forgot about it. It wasn't. It didn't matter to me.
This fucking guy. Before we talk about games, I want to say real quick, I should have said this on the 616 Entertainment Podcast, which you can listen to on SoundCloud and iTunes. I had a dream last night that Tara and I broke into a church and we were projecting movies onto the wall of the church, and it was just the two of us, and we were watching Willy Wonka at first, and then it switched over to something I've never seen before. But then like somebody came to the door and they were like, you're trespassing, what are you doing in here? And I was just like, we're showing movies on the wall. And they were just like, well, let me see. And then it, like, you know how dreams jump around. The next thing I knew, we had sold this place out. Every seat in the church was filled with people, and I was projecting American movie onto the wall of the church, and it was like the coolest shit ever. Like, Tara and I were looking at each other just like, look what we've created.
That's funny.
We now own this church. We were Tara and I were watching Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, the animated feature, and there was a part where this lady gets attacked. She's like holding her baby and she gets attacked, and Batman comes out of nowhere and like fucks up the bad guy, and then he like picks up the baby because the baby wound up on the ground, and Tara just goes, that's his baby now. It reminded me of the bedtime stories where the guy was eating the toes and then the cop kills him. He looks at the kid and he goes, I'm your dad now.
I'm your dad now.
DanDans, welcome to What Game Are You Gaming? This is a show where your favorite DanDans, myself, name of Ian, and the artist formerly known as Mike Charles, talk about what games we've been playing lately. Sometimes we have an overarching topic, even though I don't think we've done that in a while. We've had a lot to say about what we're currently playing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do here. So you should like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And you should also go to SoundCloud and iTunes, subscribe there to the 616 Entertainment Podcast. That's our main show. That's the prime show, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Man, you want to start or you want me to start?
You start.
I've been playing some games lately. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about them.
I've been playing Salt and Sanctuary on PlayStation 4.
What is that shit?
Salt and Sanctuary is... You know about Dark Souls?
Yeah.
You know about Bloodborne?
Yeah.
You know about 2D?
Yeah. I think so.
That's what it is. But the thing is, like, it's Salt and Sanctuary is the name of it. And it was supposed Salt and Sanctuary.
Okay.
It was supposed to be, not Salton, like the Salton Sea. It was supposed to be on PS4 and Vita. The Vita version is nowhere to be fucking found, and they have no news about it at all. They're just saying, like, well, it's coming. With no update.
I hate that shit.
I wanted to play Salt and Sanctuary months ago, and I was just like, I'm going to wait for the Vita version. Like, 3 months has gone by, no news. I want to play this game now, because I was playing No Man's Sky, but I'm done with No Man's Sky. We'll get to that in a bit. The thing with Salt and Sanctuary is, when you take Dark Souls and Bloodborne, those style of games, Salt and Sanctuary is the same thing. To where you fight a boss... He has the health bar on the bottom. You have a magic bar. You have a health bar. When you, like, your health potion is like a red flask or red grass. It is the same game. When you beat a boss, it says vanquished in handwritten script. And you collect salt in the game. And when you have enough salt, you can get to the next level. When you die, you lose your salt and it stays with the enemy who killed you. It's fucking Bloodborne. Yeah. It's Dark Souls. But it's also 2D.
That's so, yeah.
And
like
the thing, people are just like, oh man, this is Bloodborne, Dark Souls in 2D. That's just Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Sort of.
It's very similar. Dude, it's so good.
Is it like Symphony of the Night in the sense that, like, there's backtracking where you need to, like, find this thing, like this certain item to go back? It
kind of is, and it's also Bloodborne in the same vein that... Like, you start at the beginning, and then you walk past a bunch of doors and you're like, fuck, I can't get in
Yeah.
there. And then you beat a boss and you climb down a ladder and you go down a hallway and you turn around and you open a door and you're at the door that you saw at the beginning of the game you couldn't get out of, you couldn't go into. So you're opening up all these things that you get 3 or 4 hours into the game and you finally open this door and find out that you're 5 minutes into the game. Like, that's where it is. And it just like breaks your brain all over again.
Yeah.
Dude, $17.99 on PSN. I can't
that's not bad.
put over Salt and Sanctuary enough. I was playing Neverwinter online. Have I talked about this on the show?
No.
Okay,
Are you off Salt and Sanctuary?
No, it's going to wrap back around. DanDans, I was playing Neverwinter on PlayStation 4, which is an MMORPG, on youtube.com/616entertainment, which is where you are right now. I did an episode of Let's Play Friday about this game. So I don't need to explain it, really. It's an MMO, Dungeons and Dragons. Watch the Let's Play, get a feel of how it goes. It's only like 20 minutes. I stopped playing Neverwinter because it is an MMO and there's a lot of shit I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, there's the auction house, and then there's this cleric guy, and then there's this person over here, and it's overwhelming, and it was too much for me. And the other problem was I probably played Neverwinter for like 8 to 10 hours. I put a lot of time in,
That's
and
good.
I had a lot of fun with it, but I felt like I made zero progression at all. I didn't get any gear that looked cooler than what I already had. I didn't get any swords that looked cooler than what I already had. I didn't get a shield that looked cooler than what I already had. The cool swords that I found, it looked exactly the same and did like +3 damage. And I put this much time into the game and I felt like I had gotten no reward for it. So I was like, what am I working towards? It really wasn't doing much for me, so I bought 2 games. I've been playing a lot, man. I bought 2 games, one of which was Salt and Sanctuary, and I feel progression.
Nice.
Like, I named my character Joker because he's got green hair. I put a mustache on him that covers his whole mouth, but I turned it red, so it looks like he's got red lips.
Nice.
And I made him a certain race that made his skin white, but with black eyes. He looks exactly like the fucking Joker. I'll have to show him to you. But I'm playing Salt and Sanctuary. I'm probably 4 hours in right now, and I'm getting so much cool gear. Like, I started with a shitty sword, and then I found a mace. And I was like, oh, this mace is pretty cool. I can hit people hard with it. And then I found a great sword. And I found out that when I tap L1, I can have my mace and shield, tap L1, and I switch immediately over to my greatsword.
Nice.
So this game is giving me all the bells and whistles that I wanted out of Neverwinter that I'm not getting. And it's under $20, and the DanDans should be playing Salt and Sanctuary.
Is it as hard and like unforgiving as Bloodborne and Dark Souls?
No. Like, there was one point where I got to a ledge, and I was just like, I don't know if I can go down here. They might be trying to fuck me, because these kind of games do that.
Yeah.
There was a bottle on the ground that had a message in it. It's just another thing right out of Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
That's not like online stuff though. That's people.
I think they're
leaving.
random.
Yeah.
But there was, at this ledge, there was a bottle that said, down, trust! So I jumped and I fucking died. Because they fucked me. So, it's unforgiving in that sense that they purposely fuck with you.
Yeah.
But I got to a boss and he beat me in like 5 hits, and I was just like, I need to get better. So I grinded for like an hour, and I leveled up my shit, and I just kept doing the same run over and over again. I leveled up, I upgraded my sword, I upgraded my gear, and I went back and I fought him, and he was still kind of hard, but once I got an idea of how he moved and what his attacks were, I was able to put him away pretty quickly.
Nice.
It's not as hard. So if Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, if those beat the shit out of you, this will just give you a black eye.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right.
I'm only 4 hours in. It's probably going to get way harder.
Yeah.
Like, even the enemies are getting way harder.
Probably will. But that's
But Salt and Sanctuary, my review, get it. You know what I'm saying? What have you been playing, dog?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I've still been playing a lot of Marvel Heroes.
Yeah.
After we did that podcast, I checked my playtime. I was just under 100 hours. And I've probably put in like another 10 or 20 hours since I looked at that.
Mm-hmm.
And but the other game I have been playing, the only other game I've added is No Man's Sky. I bought No Man's Sky like last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I bought it digitally, which I knew was a risk. I normally don't buy games digitally because in case I don't like it, I can return it. I knew that there was a risk that this game wasn't gonna like pique my interest, or. But here's the thing. So when No Man's Sky first got revealed at E3, and there was like all these different trailers, I was super excited for it. Like I was super stoked, and I didn't think that I think a lot of people had thought this game was going to be more than what it was.
Yeah.
I felt like I had a reasonable expectation where it was like it's going to be a game where you explore different planets, you collect resources, you discover new species of animals, and you can name them, and then you have like this like a Pokedex of different like creatures you got, and I loved that idea, and like trading shit, and it's like I understand like it was, so I felt like I had reasonable expectations for it.
If the DanDans go back, I think 2 or 3 episodes of this show,
We talked about
one
it
of
before
the
it came
I
out.
think the show was called like 2016's indie titles you must play and like the biggest games that are coming
Yeah.
for the rest of the year, some shit like that.
Yeah.
We talked about this game, and I said on that show, I was like, people are going to be disappointed. Like, this is not going to be what people think it is.
Yeah.
And continue, because I've been playing too. We both put a lot
Right.
of time in, so,
So
we'll review No Man's Sky.
we
right
can
here.
both talk about it.
Yeah.
Now as like time went on, after I got excited, like I understood what it was, I had reasonable expectations. More and more time went by, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be as into it as I thought I was. Now that like none of my expectations changed of what the game was, I wasn't as sure. But it was out for about a week. I heard like mixed things, but I also heard some people were loving it, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I was super excited about this game. I still am very intrigued by it. I'm gonna take a shot. I bought it digitally, and
Yeah. You never buy digitally, so you must have
Right.
been pretty confident.
no, I wasn't. I knew I was taking a risk. I knew it, but I'll get to why part of that reason in a second. But before we start, because I'm sure we'll start talking about some of like the controversy of the game. Let me just I'll just talk about my experience. I have enjoyed my time with the game.
How much time do you think you put in?
10 hours.
Okay.
Something like that. I've been to 3 different solar systems, but we discovered we played that game very, very differently. Where I chose the Atlas path,
Yeah.
you didn't.
I immediately
Where-
said, fuck off. I'm going to do whatever I want.
The thing about the Atlas, because it's kind of like with Minecraft, where a game like that, I kind of wish I had a goal.
Yeah.
Where the Atlas path and No Man's Sky kind of gives you a goal. Like it gives you like general like objectives. Like, okay, the next thing you should be working towards is building your hyperdrive so you can get to a different solar system. So like the first like half of the time I've spent with it, I was like just kind of like exploring planets briefly, finding some new things, building new technologies, figuring out how to like build new technologies and stuff. That was all really cool, going to different planets, going to different solar systems. I liked exploring, finding new creatures, and like I had like the first solar system I was in had a lot of the planets were all kind of barren. And like there was definitely there was stuff there, but it was kind of like really sparse and spread out. The first time I got to a different solar system, I landed. There was a ton of like plant life. It was super colorful. Tons of like giant animals.
Yeah.
Like giant crab things. It was like 80% water. I found like all the, and like that I was like that like blew my mind. Like that was a really cool moment. And then like the second half, I like really spent my time on like one planet. It's like looking around, like finding the different you can go to
Knowledge Stone.
the knowledge stones, but there's like these things where you can find different waypoints, and like they bring you to like points of interest.
Yeah.
And it's like finding that shit, and then there's these like giant like alien monoliths, and it's like, what the fuck is this, And so there is like we did a let's play of it a couple weeks ago, and like what I said was what I liked about it was not knowing like what you're gonna find, and there's like mystery and wonderment, and like so that stuff is cool, but at the same time, like the first day of me playing it, I sat there and played it for like 2 or 3 hours, and while like I was curious, and like it had like there was like a carrot on a stick of like, okay, I gotta get this material to do this. I was partly enjoying it, partly curious, and also part of me was bored.
Yeah.
There was definitely part of me where I was like, I don't know how long I'm gonna want to do this. I got past that where I was like more interested in the game, but I haven't played it in several days. Like I haven't had the hooks to bring me back in.
Yeah.
I do want to spend more time with it. And then I also I'm holding out hope because one of the things I heard them talk about but we'll get to that in a minute about some of the controversy about the stuff they promised, is that they've left open the possibility of like, we want people to go in there not knowing what to do, and then like as time goes on, we'll update the game with new things. And so I guess I'm kind of holding out hope that the game has I feel like we need to give it time to see like what it turns into. Like I'm kind of holding out hope that maybe they update it with new features, and this game could look completely different in a year's time.
They said we're gonna be there.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that and that's part of the reason I bought it digitally, was like this game might have a long life of. It could look look completely different in a year's time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to sell it. Like if it is going to be like that, I want to hold on to it, see what. And I'm willing to take a risk on a thing like that.
I'll jump in with you here because we've both been playing No Man's Sky quite a bit. This was a game that I thought, because Tara and I played Batman, the Telltale Batman, which we talked about in the last episode together. We played that together, and I explained No Man's Sky to her, and she was just like, that sounds fun. And I guess she took it upon herself at some point to look up gameplay, and the next time I had spoken about No Man's Sky, she was just like, that game looks boring. And so I was just like, well, we're not going to play that game together. But I didn't want to spend $60 on it. I wanted to wait for it to come into my work, because I've got the kind of job where when some cool shit comes in, we can borrow it for a bit and check it out. I waited like an adult, and it came in, and I sent you a Snapchat that just said like, big boys play for free or some shit like that, because I was proud that I had the wherewithal to wait. So I got it for free. I've been playing it. I've probably put like 7 or 8 hours in, and when I first started it, when I watched you play, I was just like, okay, I'm in for this. I landed on one planet, and I named it Terra's Rising, which is a play on her name and Triple H's WCW name, Terra Rising. So I landed there, and it's just like this red planet with red skies and orange. There's like no plant life whatsoever, but there's lots of plutonium. There's lots of like emerald, which just looks like kryptonite and red kryptonite. So I'm like picking up the green kryptonite, the emerald, going just like, this shit's gonna be expensive. And then I found like an alien, and I talked to him. I found like a trading post, and I was just like, can I sell this emerald? Shit's expensive. So I was like, fuck, I gotta go find more kryptonite so I can sell it. And then I didn't take the Atlas path, so no one's telling me what to do at all. I just have the entire galaxy that I can explore with no pressure to fucking do anything, which I kind of liked. And you mentioned earlier that you and I played this game very differently. I've played it for probably 8 hours, and I spent 7 of them on the first planet that I landed on. Because I found an animal, and I named him. And then I found another one, and I named him. And then I went into like the menu and I had found 2 of like 22 animals on this planet. There's 22 different species on this planet. So I was like, well, I can't leave till I found every fucking animal. So I found, I think, 20 of them out of 22, and I named them all and I uploaded all of it. And then I was just,
and you get like credits and stuff for doing it.
I searched that planet for like another. That was probably like 3 hours in. I had found 20 of them. I searched it for another maybe 3.5, 4 hours, and I didn't find the other 2. And I was just like, I gotta move on. I've seen so much on this planet. I've been around so far that I know there's no water here. I really wanted to find water. So I went up into space, which there's a little thing that pissed me off. Is sometimes when I take off in my thing, it throws me into space.
Yeah, I don't know what you... I didn't have that problem.
Almost every 3 times I take off, it throws me into space. And I have to turn around and go back down. I don't know what was
going on.
So I go up into space, and I decide to land on another planet, and I go towards it, and this planet doesn't look much different than the one I was just on. It's red again.
Yeah.
Like, the animals look kind of different. I spent maybe 45 minutes on this planet, and it was just more of the same, just slight differences. So I went back up into space. I landed on another planet, and it's like mostly water. And I was like, wow, I've never seen... It's so crazy that this game made me think, I've never seen water before. So I went into the water because there was like a marker down there that was like a waypoint that would let me choose something. But it was so fucking deep that I couldn't use it without drowning.
Right.
And that's where the problem of a procedurally generated world comes in, is I can't use that thing.
Well...
And there's no fucking animals in the water on this planet. I looked around for like 20 minutes. I didn't find a single fucking piece of aquatic life.
Well, in the defense of the fact that you can't get down there, I think you can upgrade your your breathing stuff so you can, and so that's like the incentive to keep going, is to like upgrade your shit so you can do more and see more and be more efficient.
Yeah. My review of No Man's Sky is I went into this game thinking people are expecting too much out of this game. The only thing I expected out of this game was a galaxy, seeing shit, feeling like, wow, and then rinse and repeat. That's exactly what this game is, and nothing more at all.
Yeah.
Like, there was a thing that Jim Sterling had said, which I'm not like a Jim Sterling guy. I think he's he's full of his own shit. But he made a comment in his review. I read his entire review on my lunch break the other day at work. The other day, it was like 2 weeks ago. Where he said that this game was packed to the brim with nothing. And I have to agree with him. Like, he said that one of the things that broke the camel's back for him was he found a giant animal. He tried to ride it because he was like, oh, that'd be cool. So he used his jetpack and he got on the animal's back and he fell right the fuck through it.
Yeah.
Because, and he was just like, everything in this world is artificial. And he was just like, this doesn't feel living and breathing. And so my review of the game, it's a good game.
Yeah.
It's good, but don't expect anything other than a galaxy to look around in. It's the whole game is window shopping. You don't get to walk in and look at the toys and buy a toy and then like play with the toy.
That's a really good way.
It's a galaxy of windows. It's a mall where all the stores are closed, in my opinion. So that's what No Man's Sky is for me. I think I'm done. Like, I'm done with it. And I'm pretty sure I'm done with it because I looked up what's at the center of the galaxy. Because there's no guide for me. You want me to tell you what it is?
No.
You really think you're going to put that much time into this game that you're going to find out?
Yeah, I don't want spoilers.
I won't tell you. Do you want me to tell you what I think about it? What's at the center of the galaxy?
Just that a positive or negative.
Okay. I'm glad I already decided I was done.
Yeah.
With this game. And I want to say more, but I feel like whatever I say at this point is going to be more than you want to hear.
Yeah.
It's probably more than the DanDans.
If I want to spoil it for myself later on, I will, but not at this moment.
Okay.
Not at this junction.
Not at juncture.
Whatever.
My review of No Man's Sky is it's good. If I pick up a game and I have fun with it for 8 hours, I'm going to recommend that game.
Sure.
I recommend Neverwinter. Big time.
Sure.
I experienced maybe 25% of what Neverwinter is. I had a good fucking time. I don't need to keep playing it. But I would recommend No Man's Sky. I would just recommend
give
that
it a try.
Don't expect it to be...
Because some people are loving it. Some people are really liking it.
I loved a lot of what I did with it.
I did, me too. And I'm not saying I'm done with it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the
But,
problems.
yeah.
My favorite part of No Man's Sky, and I had decided I was over it before I heard this, was landing on a planet. Quick aside, there was a game on PS3 around launch called Africa. And the whole game was you were a photographer in Africa taking pictures of animals. And I was like, that sounds like the coolest fucking game I've ever heard of in my life. And I was very excited for it. Didn't come out in the States until years later, and by then it was already super outdated, and it wasn't as good as the trailer showed.
Probably wasn't even good.
Ooh, it wasn't as good as the trailer showed. # No Man's Sky. But the problems with No Man's Sky is my favorite part of the game was finding new species and new animals, naming them, and setting them up into the cloud. So when, by some ridiculous chance that somebody landed on Terra's Rising, they would find Dibus and Dorfus and Dubus and Wibus and all these things that I found. Turns out no one's ever going to find that because the animals that you name and sent to the cloud get wiped.
Yep.
Nothing sticks. I don't even know if it's certain that the names of the planets stick at this point.
I think...
Which is the biggest load of shit I've heard in a long time.
As far as I know, the planets and the solar systems do stick. But, yeah, after a certain amount of time, any of the plants or animals, any of the waypoint stations you found, and my thing is, there's been all these like compilation videos of shit that Sean Murray, the lead developer of the game,
go on YouTube and search No Man's Sky Nude Disappointment Discovered.
Yeah.
It's like 10 minutes long. Watch the whole thing.
I did. That is the one I watched.
Yeah.
So I did see that. And there was a lot of shit, and a lot of it was like, okay, like, sure, but that's not like a huge thing. The big thing was like the multiplayer, where he had alluded to the fact that you could encounter somebody. And like, I remember him talking about like placing beacons so that like other players can come to the planet you discovered, which that's not...
It's not even close to being a
That's
thing.
not there.
No.
And like, this is stuff like I remember hearing. It's not like, oh, well, he said this in this compilation trailer. Like, I remember this. And the thought of like, it's just, there's a small chance, but the thought of like maybe coming across somebody else, it's like, that's awesome. Like, even if it is a small chance. And the thought of like me coming and landing in a planet that somebody's already discovered and named, it's like, that's super cool. And then it was like 2 players found each other and they were streaming. Like, they went to the same planet, the same exact location.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Like, they were both live on Twitch. And they were, like, communicating with each other, just going, like, are you seeing what I'm... Like, this is exactly the same place? And they were like, yep. And they had no idea that each other were there.
They couldn't see each other. And he put out a tweet, like, when the game came out, that was like, No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game. Do not expect that experience.
Yep.
Did you see in, I think it was the UK, the boxes?
It says multiplayer on the back.
There's a sticker. The rating is a sticker. And when you peel it off, it says multiplayer capabilities underneath the sticker. Which
makes me think that the multiplayer was so broken that they took it out.
Yeah, or that they just weren't ready. And
I don't think this game is close to ready, to be honest.
That's the thing. And they like announced it like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. 3 years ago, I think.
This is what Colin talks about all the time. Like, the Fallout model. Like, we all fucking know Fallout's going to come out. They told us Fallout was coming 5 months before it came out. So they were just like, here it is. You can have it soon. And it was just, it came out and people liked it.
Like, if they didn't say anything about this game and they just took like years and years and no pressure to like get it out, because people are like, where's this game? We fucking want it. And like, everything that they've like, every plan they had to make it. And like, if it was actually like what they intended from the start, I think people would. And then like, it just like kind of came out.
I think No Man's Sky would have gotten Game of the Year nominations, not win, nominations, if at E3 20XX 2017, if that's when they decided they were done. That, like, no one had heard of this game. And whoever the head is now, it's not Jack Tran anymore. If they were just like, the lights came down, the light came on, and Sean Murray was playing the game, and it was the first time anyone had ever seen No Man's Sky, and he was just like, and you can get it right now.
Or in 6 months, even.
No, right now. And people just went, a whole universe? And then they download it, and they have that. It would have blown people's balls
the
off.
first trailer I saw, I would have bought that game instantly.
Mm-hmm. And that first, like, there's a part in New Disappointment Discovered where he was just talking about, like, because they were just like, well, we've seen going planet to planet, and, like, there's animals and stuff like that. You know, like, what else is there? He was just like, well, it could have been unoriginal and ended a trailer with, like, oh, big monster title screen. And then they flash back to a few months before that. He did that. Where you're on a planet, and then this giant alien rhino breaks through trees, and it says No Man's Sky. First of all, there are no enemies in this game. Like, one animal might decide to bite your foot.
I've come across.
Okay, well,
you've only been to 3 planets.
Okay, but I've never seen a tree. That was a thick forest, and a rhino ran through trees and broke them. What I'm getting at is that entire gameplay sequence was canned and not real.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah,
it was 100%.
That first,
real.
Yeah. But what I was saying is, like, a lot that first compilation where I was like, all right, some of that's shitty, but, like, I can get, like, whatever. Like, let's see. When I found that, like, the name Discoveries, it's like they don't even save for myself.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna find them. But even if I go back to a planet I discovered,
Dibus and Wibbus will be gone.
That's fucking. That's atrocious. Like, that, like, defeats so much of the purpose of, like, what people think is cool about this.
And there's a lot of it where you can tell Sean Murray was on the spot and someone asked him, like, are we going to be able to do this? And he has a big grin on his face that you can tell internally he's going, I wish you didn't ask me that. And then he just goes, yeah. And then they're like, wow, so we can do this. And he continues to smile and just looks at the TV where he's demoing the game. That dude doesn't have any fucking PR training. And when you have a guy like that who doesn't have any PR training, don't fucking put him on live internet broadcasts with an open field of questioning. Which then brings you to the guy, I think he was from Game Trailers, where they had mentioned something about that, and he was just like, so is there rules on how to ask about this game? Like, that was one of the things that he had said, and it was just like, well, a lot of times there is on other games. You know what I mean? That's where, I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about No Man's Sky. I have more negative things to say. But for what the game is, I enjoyed my time with it. But it's not what a lot of people thought it was going to be. And the reason I'm not so pissed off is because I saw this from day fucking 3. Day 1 and 2, I was on board. Day 3, I was like, okay, hold on a goddamn minute.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I thought like I had very reasonable expectations. Like, I didn't think more than it was going to be. But, like, even me, it still is below what I expected. And I don't think I was expecting anything. I was just, like, expecting what he said, you know?
The way this game was handled and the way it's being lied about gives the game a black eye that the game doesn't deserve.
Yeah, you're right.
The Sony and Hello Games deserve broken legs. Forget a black eye. But the game itself, for what it is right now, I still would recommend it. Just don't go in. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm repeating myself now.
Did you see there's one video of, like, it's that first trailer of the giant it's like the Stegosaurus things, and it's like all colors and, like, super, like, detailed, like, good graphics, and then it's like a comparison shot of, like, the actual gameplay of, like, just a barren rock, and it's this, like, retarded looking dinosaur, like, walking on 2 legs.
Imagine a kangaroo with a T-Rex head,
and it's like they're playing
legs.
They're playing the
ding, 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 ding,
on, like, an out of tune Like,
they played that on Colin and Greg Live, the
did
recorder
they?
version of
Yeah,
Jurassic
the recorder.
Park.
Yeah.
That's my review on No Man's Sky, DanDans.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you
I think
recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a try. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody's ever tried
Don't
to make
buy it.
anything like this before. So
I'd say don't
like,
buy it. Don't spend $60 on this game. Buy it when it's 30. Buy it when it's 20.
And it'll drop. It'll drop in price.
Yeah.
Probably pretty soon.
I don't know, man. It's selling big.
Yeah, but is that going to sustain?
Well, the news came out that the PC gaming population by week 2 had dropped 90%.
I saw an article. I don't know if this is true, but that like Steam is refunding people.
But I saw an article on Kotaku today that said that is not always true.
Okay.
That maybe some people got refunded, but people were trying to make it out just like, bro, Steam will give you your money back.
Right.
I think Steam probably refunded some people.
Right.
And then the internet fucking ran with it the way they do.
Because I even saw a guy say on, I think that article was on the Kind of Funny Facebook page, and a guy commented on that and said like he got a refund from Sony, but he said like it was probably like a similar situation with the UFC, and he said like the guy was like, this is like a one-time thing, like this is not like.
To transition into the next game that I've been playing, you mentioned the refund from Sony.
But
in my case,
all I'm just saying is that these companies might refund things, like, but they're one-off situations.
Yeah,
it's not unheard of that would happen, but because, for example, your situation.
My situation is that UFC 202 Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2 had some friends over. Name of the artist formerly known as Mike Charles, Freelance Wrestling, Stevie Fierce, and Mark Maxwell, Tara Darcy. Am I forgetting anybody?
I don't think so.
It wasn't a packed house. It was just friends having a good time. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
I ordered it through the PS4 Live Events Viewer app, and that crashes on me once in a while. But on this night, it crashed 9 to 10 times, and we missed 3 finishes. Yep. And I got on the Sony Live support thing, and I was just like, I've had problems with this before, but this is the worst I've ever seen, and I've missed more than 50% of the results of these fights. And basically, like, without being an asshole, just like, I fucking paid for this. I was just like, I expect to be refunded in some way, shape, or form. And the guy was like, sorry to hear that. And he was like consulting his manual or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like, he didn't respond, though. I waited 2 minutes. Like, there's probably part of him that wanted me to just X the window and just be like, well, yep, me too. But
he was probably talking to someone of what he could do.
I just responded.
He wanted to just like say, just show you he was there.
I responded with, yeah, I'm sorry about it too. Like, what are we going to do about this? Like, I expect a refund. Which makes me sound like the most entitled piece of shit ever. But honestly, I paid fucking $45 for this.
I don't think so.
I paid for a product and I'm not getting that product. You know what I mean? And it's not like I ordered a fucking Coke and they put 3 more pieces of ice in that I wanted. I wanted to watch the fights, and I got these janky-ass garbage can version of them. So the guy was just like, I can give you a full refund. This is a one-time thing out of, like, good customer service or whatever the fucking word was. And he refunded it to my PlayStation wallet instead of my card, which might have pissed somebody off. Didn't piss me off because I'm going to spend money on PSN. Yeah. It's like, I don't mind at all. Like,
you're going to end up spending things.
What I bought was Salt and Sanctuary, which I already talked about, and I bought Inside.
What is that?
Inside is the next game from the people who made Limbo.
Okay,
which I think are Playdead.
Maybe. I thought that was an Xbox.
It was an Xbox exclusive,
but like
that was announced
first
at E3
release?
last year. No, it was just announced as an exclusive. Like, Limbo came out on 360 and was exclusive for like 2 years. So then Playdead announced Inside it, the Xbox E3 last year.
I'm gonna sit over here.
And people were just like, holy shit. Like, they have another exclusive. It was exclusive for about 28 days.
Yeah.
And nobody saw that coming. Like, what happened was the trophies for PS4 leaked, and people were like, wow, already?
Because I remember that, and if I remember correctly, there was like, at E3, there was, for certain ones, they were like, Xbox Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
And then like there were certain ones where they were like less clear.
Played
like,
on Xbox.
Yeah.
Or like first
coming
on
like,
Xbox.
Yeah, and I kind of remember Inside
Dead
was
Rising
like that.
was like that this
but
year.
I was like, but you have no idea. It could be a year.
Yeah.
You know.
Tomb Raider. The huge controversy about Tomb Raider, which still is not on PS4. It's coming. But, Limbo it was lauded by critics. People loved it. I got Limbo when it came to PlayStation 3, and I played it, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, Limbo was great.
I got it on Vita, and I played it again. I didn't beat it, but I started playing it again. Dude, Limbo's really good. And then Inside came out, and I believe it was Ryan McCaffrey on IGN gave it a 10. And a whole bunch of outlets is getting 9 5s. It's getting like 8 5s. It got a 10. It might have got another 10. I sat down with Inside. It's about 2.5, 3 hours long, and I played it in one sitting because I wanted to get the whole thing at once. Ryan McCaffrey gave it a 10, and it's not close to a 10.
Okay.
Not close. It's good, but it's not fucking near a 10. It's not nearly as good as Limbo. Like, it's good, but here's the thing with Limbo, is Limbo came out of nowhere, and it was the only thing of its kind.
Yeah.
And it was black and white, and it was cloudy. And, like, the look of the game, it looked the way the fuzz on a record sounds. You know what I mean? There's just something about that game that you've never seen before. I'm talking in weird language right now, but that Limbo is weird. It fucking deserves weird language. Inside is a lot like Limbo. In Limbo, it's not really a spoiler. They don't fucking tell you anything.
No, there's
like
like
they start you out and it's just like it's this little boy and is that your sister? Was it your girlfriend?
In this like nightmare world.
Like, is she dead? Are you trying to save her? Are you dead? And then Inside starts and you're a little boy and it's basically monochromatic, lots of blacks, grays, whites.
There's some red in it though.
Very little red. Like your shirt is kind of red. And the game starts like the first 10 seconds of the game is like you emerge out of like the side of a mountain and you like slip down a cliff and you hear like you hear like a semi truck that it's just like it's parked but it's on. And then you turn the corner and you're like in a forest and it's like, oh, this kind of looks like Limbo. And then you see the truck and you notice that it's full of people who are just standing there and they're just looking outward. And then there's a guy he's like gunk gunk and he slams the door and the truck pulls away. And then he shines his flashlight on you and you're like, so you run and immediately I'm just going fuck. Like I'm already fucking scared of what this man's gonna do to me. And so I noticed that off in the distance there's another man who's got a flashlight. So I hide behind a bus, but the first man's still coming after me. So I run out, the man shines his flashlight on me, he goes fucking blam blam, and he shot me dead. And I was like,
wow.
Holy shit! I'm a boy.
Well, that's like Limbo's like that too.
Yeah, and he shot me dead, and it took me 3 tries to figure out like I need to get behind the bus. So the first guy goes, "Oh, do you go in the bus?" And then the second guy will come over and just goes, "You got him in the bus," and then I can like run away. Yeah. There's no talking at all, but their body language and the way they're moving, which is still so good. Play Dead. Yeah. Body language and just movement of people, you know exactly what they're thinking and where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
that's next level for them. And there's a part right in the beginning where a dog smells you or he sees you and you're running from him and you get to like a gap that you need to jump over like Indiana Jones style. That fucking dog was so close to me when I jumped that gap. But the thing is, that's the only way that scene can go. Is if you make the jump, the dog is going to be right next to you. And if you don't make the jump, it's because the dog got you. The way that they time and pace certain things, Play Dead, like nobody is fucking near them. They're that good. Mm-hmm. But Inside is maybe 20 minutes into the game, there's a bunch of dead pigs. And like one of the dead pigs has this like glowing worm sticking out of his ass. And in Limbo, there's a glowing worm that if it gets on your head, it controls you and makes you walk the other way. It makes you do the opposite of what you're putting into the controller. Right. And this fucking pig comes to life, and I see the glowing worm wiggling out of his fucking butthole. So I'm staying away from this pig, and then I get him stuck somewhere, and I grab the worm and I pull it out of his ass, and then the worm dies because it doesn't have a host, and then the pig just stands there mindless, like. That thing had taken the pig as a host and it ate his brain. I don't know. Like, everything that I'm coming up with, I have to put together because the game didn't tell me shit. So, but that glowing worm, just like, holy fuck, this is a prequel to Limbo. We're going into Limbo. I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoiler territory.
Oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear.
But
spoilers.
I can tell you this.
See, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that it's a prequel.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I don't want to know it.
Just listen to this fact. There are no spoilers because there's no story.
All right.
Everything that I infer is just me going, maybe.
Okay.
There's things that. But here's one of my problems with the game is there are things that are gonna happen in the game, and you're gonna go like I walked into this one room and this thing was happening, and I was like, I can't wait to find out what that means. You don't. They don't tell you anything.
Yeah, but that's like Limbo.
But I thought maybe this time they were going to tell me something. And I thought maybe I was going to find out that they were connected. Like, maybe they are. You know? Like, I can't tell you they're connected, but I also can't tell you they're not.
Yeah, but I feel like, so is that a criticism that they don't?
I don't know.
Want a little bit more?
That's the thing is I was explaining it to Tara because she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm playing this game called Inside. And I just told her what I was doing. I was like, I'm in this fucking water and there's this man. And I was just like, I sent her a Snapchat like 10 seconds of what I was doing, and she was like, this game looks fucking cool. And I was like, it is. And then when I beat it and I told her like they didn't tell me a goddamn thing, so I don't know what even did happen or didn't happen or will happen or won't happen. But the thing is, I played their other game and it was just like this. And she was like, are you disappointed? And I was just like, no. Like, at the beginning of this game, I was like, I can't wait to find out. But then halfway through the game, I was like, they're not going to tell me, Dick.
It would kind of defeat the purpose.
Yeah.
Like, that's the idea. Like, yeah, I get... And I'm not saying you. Like, people, it's like, oh, I want the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is always going to disappoint you and things like that.
Exactly.
Because because, like, when they leave it up to you, it's like the mystery behind it is so much more special than if they just gave you a concrete answer. And after I played Limbo, Limbo.
I went to Reddit and I was looking up what people
the theories.
thought.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like you couldn't do so.
But here's what I'll say about Limbo. I said Ryan McCaffrey from IGN gave
Inside?
it a 10. Yes, about Inside. And I said it's not close to a 10 because to me a fucking 10, dude, is almost unattainable.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
The kind of funny guys got away from scoring games because they say it's like reductive and whatnot. Honestly, I still like a number because I'm a stats guy, so I just like a number. And when we sometimes we watch movies and I'll rate it because I can't fucking remember what I thought. And when I put a number on it, I know later I can draw back to it. So if I was going to put a number on Inside, 8, 7.5, 8. It's still a fucking great game.
Yeah.
And it's an experience that is unlike anything other than Limbo, which is the other Play Dead game. So I think you can get Inside on the PSN right now for $20.
Okay.
$19.99.
I'm definitely gonna get it.
Definitely fucking get it and play it and do yourself a favor and play it in one sitting. Play it when you get home from work, get all your shit done, get in bed or in your chair, and just play it from start to finish. I played the whole thing and it didn't feel long. Here's one thing I'll say about it is Limbo is way harder.
Limbo is difficult. Some of those puzzles.
There's puzzles in Limbo that took me 30 tries of me trying. Can I do this? Can I do that? Do I need to put the box over here? There was one puzzle in Inside that took me about 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes felt long compared to everything else. Everything else isn't exactly common knowledge, but it'll take you a minute or two to you'll fuck with this, oh, that didn't work. You'll fuck with that, oh, that didn't work. And then you'll just sit there put the controller down and look at all the pieces and it'll come together. And then you try it and you're like, okay, I figured it out. There was only one puzzle where there was that gave me 4 variables, where every other puzzle gives you maybe 2 or 3. But that one was hard. One of the variables was a point in the game that I won't say anything about, because even though there's no story, there still is
moments.
There's moments, and this would give away a moment, so I won't say anything about that. But I can say that the moment took me out of the game. I was on a journey from start to maybe a finish, and there was a moment to me that like there are set rules in place for certain things, and I was taught not to break a rule, and then they broke a rule, and I was just going, okay, well then what does any of this mean? You know, it broke one of the rules that they put in place of the world. That's all I can say. So it made everything feel kind of meaningless. And when that part happened, it's like 3/4 of the way through the game, I was just like, all right, let's get out of here. Let's wrap this up because you lost me there. Not crazy about the ending, but I can't say anything about it. The ending of Limbo felt like, oh, that's where I started at the beginning. Like, this is the wrap up. To where the ending of Inside is just like, what?
Yeah.
You know, it was almost like they were just going, what the fuck are we going to do here? To me, Inside kind of felt like they came up with the end first. Like, the end of Inside feels like a dream that I had and then needed to figure out the A through Y to the dream that was Z.
Well, it's to me, it's like, it sounds like it's a little bit more complex. Maybe the ending is like, where like the ending of Limbo, like spoilers for Limbo.
It came out just like 7 years ago.
Well, and it's not even a spoiler, like you said. But I'll just whatever. It's literally just you go through this like this dangerous adventure with spiders and like you avoid all these traps, and you get to the end, and there's just a girl, and you just walk up to you just like see the girl, and then the game ends, and you don't know, like you said, you don't know who she is, you don't know why, but what's kind of brilliant about that is it's like the most basic motivation for your character. He's trying to get to this girl.
Yeah.
But you can like interpret so much from it.
Yeah.
But it's so basic and simple in its conception. But
there's not as much you can interpret from Inside. Like when I went on Reddit, it seemed like there was people over and over going, I think it's this, but it might be that.
Yeah.
And then there was one other theory of people going, no, this.
Yeah.
There was only like 3 possibilities.
Okay.
And there's like a secret ending that if you get all the collectibles and shit that kind of solidifies one of the options, maybe. Like they don't tell you shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I told Tara. She was like, are you disappointed they didn't tell you anything? And I was just like, nah. Like I was for a minute, and then I was just like, no, this is what they do.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's an experience unlike anything but Limbo.
It would defeat the purpose.
Get Inside and get Salt and Sanctuary. They're very different, but I'd say get them both. Don't get No Man's Sky until it's way cheaper, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm playing another game. I'm playing Odin Sphere, Left Rouser, or however you say that.
I don't even know what that is.
On PlayStation Vita. It's from Vanilla Works. Atlas published it. But we've already gone about an hour. Okay. Look up Odin Sphere. Yeah. It's really fucking good. But I don't need to go into it right now. I'm only 2 hours in, so I can talk about it on next month's episode.
Yeah, do that.
Here's the thing, is we've hit an hour, but I want to keep talking about games. I'm having fun. So I was thinking about introducing one of the overarching topics that we do, but let's wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? But I want to do another episode where we don't talk about what we're gaming and we do a topic.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Sure.
DanDans, youtube.com/616entertainment is where you should like, share, and subscribe to all the shit that we do. Listen to the past episodes of this show, and go to SoundCloud and iTunes and listen to the 616 Entertainment podcast that goes up every Wednesday. By the time you hear this, there's at least 130 episodes of that show that you can listen to. Every single one of them are there.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. He gets crazy. We love you, DanDans. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.